Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Karen. Welcome to my channel. I'm thinking about changing the name. It's kind of weird, awkward. It's not really me. My name is not Kat. It used to be my online name, like for to keep my anonymity. But obviously everybody knows my name anyway now, so it's kind of like I think I'm gonna change the name. But anyway, a wonderful young lady asked me this morning. Actually, I'm not gonna tell you who it is, because I'm keeping her anonymity. But, okay. It says, what helped you make a decision to remove a person from your life that you really didn't want having, um, that you didn't want? Um, what, what helped me to do that? Um, well, long story. Before I came to the Lord, as y'all know, I'm Christian, I'm saved, I've been saved for 8 years, done a lot of good, done a lot of wrong. I have made major leaps, had major fallbacks or slide backs or whatever you call them, backslides. And when I came from myself and my trespasses, pretty much, in the Bible it says as soon as you come to God, you're in 2 Corinthians 5:17, your old self has passed away and you have been made new. After you realize that, I started to set boundaries of what I will take and what I won't take. And I was a person in my old life that would take a lot of BS. They would take somebody kind of browbeating me and belittling me, and would take that because I didn't feel like I had a choice to stand up for myself. I felt like that's what my life's going to be, and I didn't have great standards. So when I started coming to the Lord and I saw the way Christians treated me, and not all the time, I might say, it was different than how my family treated me. I saw that there was um, a better line, um, like I could raise the bar of my limits, of my values, of my morals. I didn't have to stay down here and accept all the garbage and junk people would be giving me. So I had to raise the bar, and I set an example. In order to for people to not do that to you, you're going to have to say to them, "Excuse me, I know you think I'm this way, this and this, but this is who I really am, and I don't accept that. If you're going to be in my life, then you're going to have to treat me better. I expect for you to treat me with respect. I expect that you treat me how I treat you. And if you're a person, not saying that you are, that gives out drama, then you're going to get back drama. So you have to portray to other people what you want in your life. If you want respect, you give out respect. If you want kindness, you give out kindness. If you want love, you got to give out love." And so through that, not saying that I've gotten all that in my life, I've had a hard life just like everybody else. Um, but you have to raise the bar of your moral standards. And if you expect um, people to treat you bad, they will. People will treat you bad regardless, but you're the one that has to say, "Excuse me, I didn't appreciate that comment. I don't appreciate that little dig or that sideways shade there. I'm a human being and I deserve respect. And if you don't want to give it, then you can just step out my way while I continue on this road by myself or on this journey with whoever's by my side." I'm having the hardest time. I've cut, I've cropped, I've edited. It's 3 hours later. Of course, I've videoed in between with my tripod and all my reborn channel and stuff like that, but this is really hard to talk about, and it's a really hard question. I thought, I'm like, okay, I'm going to come on here, boom, bang, boom, 20 minutes, I'm done. It is a hard question. I think to actually tell somebody that you love that they can no longer be in your life is a hard thing, and even after you physically say it out your mouth, to live it out is hard. However, there are many benefits of having somebody that brings turmoil and anxiety and overwhelming feelings, that part is easier to let go of. The loving stuff is hard to let go of. And sometimes we might pretend that that person's a bad person, so that way it's easier to let them go. I've been through that a couple times. You might make, excuses, reasons why they're a bad person, and that way it's easier for you to move on with the process. You just have to say, listen, here's a fork in the road. I'm trying to go to the right side. The right side, the right hand of Jesus. I'm trying to do that side. And you're going in this whole other direction. And we're two different people. We got two different characteristics, wants, needs, desires, dreams, aspirations, goals. And, maybe we don't have to part as friends just yet, but maybe talk on the phone once a week. Try to lessen the relationship before you try to break the relationship. If you try to lessen it and it doesn't work and they keep on calling you and they keep on hounding you, one thing that I can't stand in a relationship is when somebody smothers me. And they call me multiple times a day and just smother me. Can I talk now? Can we talk? Can we do this? Can we do that? I'm like, no, just go away. I love to have friends, but when friends smother me, and they're very needy and clingy, I just hate that. It's nice to be loved, but to be used as a crutch in somebody else's life, no thank you. So it depends on the relationship. I'm trying to sum up in a whole how you can tell somebody to get out of your life, but it depends on so many different things and so many different instances, and how long have they been your friend, and if it's just the first argument you've had. It's okay. After a while in life, I realize that just because somebody has an opinion doesn't mean that I can accept it. We can still be friends. We can still be cordial and nice to each other and still be friends, but just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that I have to accept it. And just because I have an opinion about you doesn't mean that you have to accept it. So I think in friendships and all relationships, to agree to disagree is the best thing for you to both come to that knowledge. I used to think if somebody disagreed with me, that they didn't love me. And it took me a long time through many lessons with the Lord on relationships and how to do all that. And to just say, get out of my life. I've done that quite a few times. Each circumstance was different. And sometimes you can tell somebody, back off for a while. I'm going through something, and in order for me to really go through it, I need for you to back off. Because sometimes what people do is they try to cling on to you when you're in trouble, and then they make your issue their issue, and that hurts the whole situation. So if you're going through something and you need to go through it, and you still want to keep them as a friend, just say, hey, back off for a little bit. You're my girl, you're my friend, you're my pal, whatever. But just, I need this time for me. And if you really do love me, you're going to give me this time. And if you don't, then it's bye-bye. I hate to sound like a snooty. It's like a snob, but that's how I do things in life. Sometimes I'm having a really hard time and somebody calls and I'm like, sorry, today's not the day. I've been crying all day. I don't want to talk about it. I don't need to talk about it. Just like, I'm sorry, I have to check this. I've been waiting for a response from this person. Nope, not her. Where was I? To say I'm having an issue, and today I don't feel like talking about it. I don't want to tell you what it is. I don't want to go through why I don't want to tell you. Just today's a bad day. I'll call you when I'm mentally, physically, emotionally feeling better. So try your best to not break off the friendship if you can. But if it's at that point and you're just both like, like the static electricity between the both of you are just like, nah, right there, then say, back off for about a month. And if you can't, then I'm going to have to say goodbye. You know, you can tell somebody that I need some time alone. And if they don't want that, then it's either going to be, you're going to give me some time alone because that's what I need for myself. Sometimes in friendships, people think that they can do things for you because they love you so much. And I think that love sometimes can kind of hinder a relationship. I know that sounds weird, but I think too much love, too much, oh, my friend, you know, let's talk about it. Let's come over to my house. Let's powwow. Eat a half-gallon ice cream. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. I feel like it's right there, but I'm having a hard time grasping the middle of it, you know? I've done this a lot. And you're allowed to miss some goodness. You know, I ping-ponged back and forth with relationships because I couldn't deal with them, but yet I missed them so much because there's chemistry. You have to, okay, this is a really good point. Thank you, Jesus. I finally got there. You have to realize in your life, am I holding on to this person because there's a past with it and there's love and there's been memories with this and I have great pictures and there's a memory with this person, or am I holding on to them because they're valuable in my life right now? So that was a really good tip that I just gave y'all out there. You gotta discern between, is this person valuable to me now, or because we have a history, that's the only reason I'm hanging on to them. So that's another question you gotta ask yourself. And before you just say goodbye to somebody, and I know that not anybody probably takes it lightly out there to just say goodbye to somebody. But, you know, we each have our paths, and the friend that I said goodbye to, that he thought that my mentor was being manipulative, I had just been saved that summer, and he had just come back into my life. And he was the one that originally brought me to the Lord, like back when I was 18, 19, but I didn't go through with it and all that stuff. And then when I finally got saved, then he was on the other side of that. So we still weren't meshing very well. I still love him to this day, and I wish him all the happiness that he could have, and I pray for him a lot. And just because you say goodbye to somebody doesn't mean you stop praying for him, doesn't mean you stop missing him, stop loving on him. In this movie, Eat, Pray, Love, with Julia Roberts, she was at the ashram in India. I think that's where she was, yes. And there's this guy named John from Texas. He called her, what do you call her? Oh goodness, I don't know. But at some point he said, she's like, oh, I miss him. He's like, so miss him. Send him some light and love. Every time you think about him, then drop it. So that's what you can do. You can pray for him. You can send him some light and love. Just, you know, I missed you. You don't have to say that to him, but goodness, this was a hard one. I don't even know if I even got the answer out or not, but there's a lot of things that play into it, and you got to discern whether this person is good for you now or was good for you then. You got to discern whether they're bringing good stuff to the table or bad stuff to the table. And you have to discern whether they're going to come with you on your journey because they're going on the same path, or whether you're going to fork and that person goes that way and you go the other way. So it depends. But you just, in order to say it, this is how you physically say it. Just say, you know what, we're not meshing so well recently. I think we need to do our own thing for a couple months. You know, let's, at the end of the month, at the end of 30 days, let's meet up, have lunch or something, and then, you know, talk about it, talk about, you know, what's going on, or just say, hey girl, what's going on? I'm kind of sucking at this today, but I'm trying. You can see I'm trying, right? And at the end of the day, you just really gotta take a big laugh. I cry too much. I need to laugh more. Um, Man, I already had 2 outbursts today with tears, and it's just been, oh, Jesus. So say, instead of just stop being friends, let's just take a month. Take a break. Every time you want to text me, just send light and love, and we'll talk at the end of 30 days. And if you talk more about positive stuff at the end of 30 days, you really missed her, you go in, you give a hug, you just jump up and down, I missed you, and then it's a good thing to keep the relationship. If you go there and you're dreading seeing this person and you're like, I really don't want to go today, but it's the right thing to do, then probably not a good thing to stay friends with this person. Don't stay friends for convenience. Stay friends because you really see in each other hopes and dreams and aspirations, and a friendship where you can both grow. It's kind of taking a new plant and putting it in a new bigger pot, like with soil and all that stuff, so you can, I know that sounds weird, but yeah. So I tried. And if you still have no idea what I'm talking about, hit me back up and say, okay, I see your point here, but what about this? What about that? I love for people to be interactive and ask me questions and say, what did you mean by this? I don't understand this. And I think you got my drift. You think you got the basic point of whether to stay friends or whether to part. So I'm done. I'm just cutting it. I'm cutting this loose. I'm putting it out there. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I hope that I helped. And I'm just done with this video because it was stinking hard. So I'm going to go back to my reborning and gotta do some more videos on that side. But I love y'all, and I'm going to try to come up with a positive video sometime soon. It's nice to talk about struggles, so you can share that for other people to say, okay, I'm not alone. But it's also nice to hear the testimonies out of those struggles, so that way you say, okay, this happened and this was bad, but this good came out of that. So, yeah. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. I hope this helped. Bye, guys. Okay, I'm back for just a few seconds, I hope. I am lying. I'm lying. It's never just a few seconds. So, let me say this. If you're trying to split with a childhood friend, that is so difficult. My heart just goes out to people who have to do that for the first time. The lady that I was talking about ping-ponging back and forth for 18 years of friendship. She was a childhood friend. I met her in 8th grade. We became more friends in 9th grade and so on after that. A lot of sleepovers, a lot of crazy party nights when I was around 19, 20, something like that. And I gave her her first baby shower, or hosted her first baby shower at my house, my parents' house. But it's harder to split with childhood friends because there's a history. But a lot of childhood friends might grow up to stay friends, but most of the time, at some point, you're both going to have a fork in the road. You're both going to have a way that's going to, one person's going to go this way and the other person's going to kind of go this way. You see that? And if you're childhood friends and then you grow up together, you're either going to have to split at college, you're going to have to split at work, you're going to have to split because not everybody's the same. It's kind of like snowflakes. There's a different, snowflake, all that. And at some point you're going to grow differently. You're going to one person might start to concentrate on career. One person might start to concentrate on themselves. And with a childhood friend, it's so hard to stay friends because there's always going to be something that separates you. So I understand the childhood friend to try to, um, it's so hard. It's so hard to say goodbye to a childhood friend. But again, remember, are you saying goodbye to that person? Or are you saying goodbye to the past and the relationship? The relationship is different than that person. I found it hard, so hard to say goodbye to somebody. Um, I keep on bringing this up. I guess he's really on my heart today. I had a friend named Andres. We were friends for a very long time, and I loved him so much. And we were very both kind of crazy. We were both mentally kind of nuts, especially when we were younger. I met him when I was 18 and he was 17, I think. And he was the first one who brought me to the Lord, but it didn't stick because I didn't want to answer the calling. And so about 5 years ago, excuse me, about 6 years, about 5, 6 years ago, he came back, and he found me. I forgot how, but I guess he remembered me from, I don't know. Anyway, I have been on and off with a lot of people because of the same reason, is because I didn't want to say goodbye to the whole past, to the whole package, to the memories, to the feelings that person brought to my life, to the friendships, the talking, the chaos, I did not want to say goodbye. So I kind of bounced back and forth again like a ping pong with a lot of relationships because I loved the past more than I loved that person. I loved him so much. He was such a good friend to me. He brought me to the Lord when I was 18, he was 17, something like that. And, wait, no. No, he's like 2.5 years separate from me. I think he was 16 and I was 18. Something like that. And, I had a mentor, when I was about 31, 32, and she brought me to the Lord. And it stuck. And I've had my trials, my triumphs, I already said I backslid a whole lot. And he kind of found me again, and he wanted to be in my life. But he only wanted to be in my life when it was good for him. He didn't really want to be in my life when it was good for me. So that was one reason. Another reason is he was my first Christian influence, and by the time I was saved, he was now totally somewhere else. And he stopped believing in God. He started believing more in the moon and the stars and astronomy, more than he believed in God. God was pretty non-existent in his life. He was blamed God a lot. I think for a lot of people it's easy to blame God because God's not physically here to defend himself. I blame God a lot. And so I had to say goodbye to him. I had to say, you know what, we're in two different places again right now, and I'm Christian and you're not, and I'm trying to go on this path, and I'm trying to better myself, and I'm trying to look towards a better life, and you're going in this way, and as much as I love you, and I will always love you, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to you again, because you're just going to he was in a very dark place mentally, just a very, very dark place. It was devastating to tell him goodbye. I remember sitting him on the stoop of the stairs in the back, and I said, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you goodbye. And I'm praying that he came back to the Lord. I'm praying that he's in a better place, even if he's not saved. At least he's in a better place, I'm hoping. And it was really heartbreaking. And of course I sent him a few letters back and forth here and there, but it's hard to say goodbye to a childhood friend because I think in childhood and when you're in school and growing up, if you have a friend that really knows who you are and is going through the same things, you have a very tight bond. And when you start to grow up and you start to go and do different things and become different people, that's when you have to say goodbye. And that's why it's so hard, because the bond that brought you together through abuse, through neglect, through abandonment, through whatever issues you have in your childhood that bonds you together, now you have to say goodbye to. And that's why it's so hard. 3, 2, 1. But it has to be done. At the end of the day, it's just all about you. You have to live your life to the fullest, the way you see fit, the way you know that you're going to have a healthy, happy life. And if you have people bringing you down, that it probably is best to say goodbye. And how to tell you to say goodbye to somebody, you're just going to have to pray and figure that out pretty much on your own. I don't think anybody can tell you how your heart is going to feel when you say goodbye to somebody, but if it has to be done, you're just going to have to say goodbye. Say goodbye. Speaking of goodbye, I'm going to stop the video. I'm done for today. I'm going through a whole lot of mental and emotional issues today myself. And I'm going to stop it there. So, love y'all so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.